I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Yeah, so I'm excited for another bite-sized edition of Dinner with the Girls, where we share, cool little tidbits and
Oh,
things that we do to make healthy eating easier. And today, I think is one of my favorites
okay.
because it's ingredient hacks.
Yeah.
Oh,
So what does that mean, Yas? Just to be clear, what is an
yeah.
ingredient hack in your
Right?
book?
So an ingredient hack is basically, a shortcut or a way
Yeah.
to make it easier, you know? That's kind of what I think it would be. So shortcut or a way to make it easier. Yeah.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, I completely agree. Or like a tip or trick to help you when you might not have the proper ingredients on hand, or maybe can't get to the store. So let's just leave it at that.
Exactly. Cool. So I will start, and
Okay.
I want to share my hack. So I don't actually have my hack here. I'm going to
Okay.
pop up a video, and yes, you're looking at a free range, whole cooked chicken that I picked up from Goodness Me.
Okay.
And this is my ingredient hack for really like couple dinners and also making my chicken broth that I use in soups. Like if anybody knows me, they know I love soup. I eat a lot of soup, and broth when you buy it, pre-made, it's just not near as good. And so my ingredient hack is buying this chicken already cooked because yeah, I could cook the whole chicken, buy it, cook it, involves cleaning, like way too much work, like way too much work. And I just wouldn't make as much broth as I do if I had to cook the chicken myself. And on
Right.
top of it, I find when I go to buy a whole chicken that's healthy, we're talking free range, not the grain fed stuff, but the actual proper chicken, it's actually usually more expensive to buy the whole chicken
Wow.
than to buy it actually pre-cooked at Goodness Me.
Really?
I know, crazy, right? Like when I
Yeah.
went to actually buy a whole chicken once, I was like, why am I doing this? Like I so so it's so awesome that Goodness Me has this service, and it's the only place that I've found where I can buy a healthy whole cooked chicken. And yes, it's $15.99, or recently with inflation, it's now 15 or $16.99. But I mean, you pay $12.99 for like the crappy chicken, and I'm literally gonna get three dinners out of it, plus like easily 2 liters of bone broth, essentially, because I do cook the broth for a while. You can kind of see me like quickly, taking apart. I just brought it home, and I'm quickly taking apart the chicken, and you won't see the rest. But what I do have a link to a video that I made for making your own chicken broth, bone broth, using this kind of chicken. So we'll put the link, in. And that's my hack to make things easier. Don't work harder than you need to.
I couldn't agree more. And a couple takeaways that I'd like to mention, because it's such a good point. When it comes to the cost, I feel like you can't get a quality drive-through meal for $16.99 these days. So it might be a little bit off, but if you're paying, let's say $12.99, then you're basically eating chemical McDonald's. So even if I go out and do something like a healthier version, which I'm happy to pay for when I'm out, I'm spending about $20, and that's one meal. So you've just told me you get 3 meals plus a whole bunch of broth. So I think the cost is extremely cost effective, to be honest with you.
Right. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
putting it into perspective like that. Because honestly, I don't feel guilty buying the chicken in any way, because this is the meals that I made from it this week. So I made a chicken stir fry.
Okay.
I made a lovely chicken salad, and this is for 3 people with some leftovers.
Wow.
Right? Because the chicken's not the main part. It's like an add-in to the vegetables. And then we had a bunch of chicken sandwiches. I mean, I'm not always eating the chicken sandwiches, but my family does. So they had some chicken sandwiches, and we used up that chicken, and now we've got the most amazing soup from the broth.
Phenomenal. And last thing with my nutritionist hat on, I'm glad that you mentioned Goodness Me. I think it's worth researching for anybody who's interested. Research specifically the ingredients in the Costco rotisserie pre-cooked chicken, please. I don't even have to tell you the other ones, Metro, etc. Just research what's in the Costco, and it's enough to make you make that decision to definitely check into the quality of the products you're consuming, for sure.
Yeah, awesome.
For sure. So my hack has to do more with the ingredient side of improvising and how you can actually save money. So I want to talk about flours. I do a lot with flours. I know a lot of people are a little scared of flours because we think of like white flour and bleached, unbleached, whole wheat flour.
Yeah. And to be honest, I just want to stop you for a second. Like flours kind of scares me a little bit because yes, there's the bad flours of the refined white flour and then whole wheat flour. And then you get into all the different kinds, spelt flour, rice flour, bean flours. Like, oh my God.
I know, and there's so much flours, and it's a passion of mine. I talk a lot about it actually on my community, the TLC community, where we don't have to be scared of flours. At the end of the day, they're not a whole food, but you don't have to cut them out of your diet. There are ways to use flours in moderation that actually complement your diet. So let me get into some of those flours. You kind of mentioned them. I'm talking flours that are made exactly from legumes, flours that are made from actual whole grains, like buckwheat flour, for example. Okay, like the nutritional profile in buckwheat flour is bar none. You're getting your protein, you're getting so many nutrients, vitamins, minerals. Then I'm talking about brown rice flour. Okay, oat flour, almond flour. So the list goes on. So in my home, I basically make most of my flours because it saves me money. And you'd be surprised, you basically need two things to make a flour. You need your high-speed blender, and it does have to be a pretty quality blender. Vitamix will do, Yaz. I know you know what I mean. I know you love your Vitamix, and me too. And the ingredient. So let me show you, for example, I didn't want to do it while we were together because it's so loud, but as you can see, I've literally used my favorite sprouted organic gluten-free oats, and I have literally made flour. So all I did was pop that into the Vitamix, into the dry container, like you literally have. It's pure consistency of flour. So for me, this bag of oats at Costco is $9.99, and it's like a biggie. It's really big. I can't even find how big it is. It is big.
That one too. It's such a good deal.
It's such a good deal. So big, huge bag. So not only can I make a ton of flour, I also use a lot of oats in my recipe. So again, so simple. And some of the more common flours that I'm making, I do make a lot with quinoa flour. So remember too, I'm not just using flours to bake. Like if you need a thickener for a sauce or something, or if you're breading something and you don't want to use breadcrumbs, flours can come in really, really handy. So I'll make a quinoa flour from my quinoa, also from Costco, also organic. I will make a chickpea flour, which is huge in nutrition, but little word of caution. If you're making a flour out of legumes, they need to be soaked first and re-dried. Re-dried either in your dehydrator or your oven, or really low in your oven. Because remember, foods like chickpeas, all the other legumes, lentils, they have those lectins and they have those enzyme inhibitors. So we can't eat them raw as humans. So we don't want to have the raw flour. That is important for legumes.
Okay. That I would not have really thought of. So thank you for that. That's quite important.
If you're using just the dried beans, chances are you can have a lot of gas and a lot of discomfort.
Right. Yeah. So soak them, dry them. Cool.
Soak them and dry them just for legumes. And then another popular one I love brown rice flour. You're just grinding up whole grain brown rice. That's it.
Wow.
That's all. And that flour is really crispy, really good for breading, like outside, like tofu and whatever. So for me,
wow.
It also helps cost, as I said, and just variety. Because you might have a recipe that calls for a little bit of brown rice flour and you don't want to go spend, you know what I mean? $9.99 on a huge bag that you're never going to use. So you can make your own and you can pick the quantities.
Amazing. I think this is such an important ingredient hack, making your own flours. Because I know in my cupboard, I've got, bags of things I've experimented with and never fully used up. And then I'm like, what did I, and I have most of the ingredients in their whole form already at home. So how crazy is that? I could be making my own flours. Like, blows my mind.
Exactly. In the quantities you need, fast and easy. So that is one of my number one time-saving, money-saving hacks for ingredients that I use often.
Amazing. Cool. Well, I mean, this has been such a useful episode. I'm so glad that we talked about ingredient hacks. We will talk about more.
I agree. So until next time, I guess I will see you soon, yes?
See you soon.
Okay, bye guys.
Bye.